definitely. Last question to you, Wali, is in terms of resources, if people want to get more skillful on this area of personal finance, any resources that you could recommend? This may be a good opportunity for you to also talk a little bit about your
Yeah, of
channel.
course. Actually, I have got two channels. One is in English, one is in Urdu. Of course, Urdu channel is much more grown away now. Like it's having 50,000 subscribers. My English channel is only 100, not 100,000. Hopefully, it will be, but 1,000 subscribers as of now. Apart from that, I don't read a lot of books, but whatever books that I have read is like Rich Dad Poor Dad and A Psychology of Money through by Morgan Housel. This book is actually very good, and one of the lesson from that book is about the luck and the risk. I'll talk about that in a bit. But one thing is important to note, that once you're reading these kind of authors, you should understand that you're not living in, if you're not living in northern let's say North America, or let's say Europe, or these kind of countries, you should try to simulate to your own environment. It's not like everything that you read you can implement that. And the other thing is that an author like Robert Kiyosaki, who was a visionary at that time, maybe when he was writing this book of Rich Dad Poor Dad, but if you follow him now, he's completely different, and he's talking about something which is I actually not endorse what he's talking about. He's talking about selling all the stocks. He's talking about taking out money from the banks because they are going to be bankrupted very soon. He's talking about only investing in gold. He's talking about selling his own courses. By the way, Robert Kiyosaki's courses, if you go in a free seminar, it costs nothing. But then he's going to upsell $500 course. He's going to upsell $12,000 course, and then he's going to upsell $45,000 course. And if people say that, okay, I don't have that kind of money, he will tell you, okay, do you have the credit card? They say that we don't have this kind of limit. He ask them to call the bank and tell the people how to increase the limits. So Robert
Oh
Kiyosaki
boy.
is kind of a scam now. So one should really see who are their mentors and who are they following. So there should be a common sense all the time. I'm telling everybody that, okay, listen to me as well, but use your own mind, because it's your own money. So your own money is not going to be, you cannot outsource your wealth building. So it is very important, whatever you're listening, whatever you're there are a lot of podcasts as well, there are a lot of YouTube resources as well. Like I watch Graham Stephan, I watch Dave Ramsey, I watch a lot of Indian YouTubers as well. But again, your own decision has to be your own. You cannot blame anybody for your own downfall. So and as there was a one example I would definitely like to give. I think from Morgan Housel, I read about luck. So whenever you're lucky, whenever things are going up, it will eventually go up, and you think that you're lucky, or let's say you think that you are intelligent, but it's not like the case. Because I know of people, I know of one person here in Dubai. He purchased a property, and he took a risk during the COVID. That property was around 2.7 million dirhams, and now it's around let's say 4.7, something like that, and he took it on mortgage. So imagine if somebody got this kind of deal, and he thought that I'm a genius, and I can do it again. And if he tries to do it again in this environment, I'm sure he's going to fail. So you should understand where you found your luck, and where you should be thinking about like your own system. So making system around your investments is very important. Luck sometimes work, sometimes doesn't. So one should not rely on luck all the time. If you're lucky one time, it's not that every time you get lucky. So this is very important. I learned this, by the way, from Morgan Housel itself. So there are a lot of resources, but one has to implement or apply their own knowledge to such kind of literature or books.
I must say that you probably learned this from Morgan Housel. I actually learned this the hard way. When I moved to Canada, like the real estate was booming, right? And like you start investing your first house, and then you go into your investment property one, two, and so on, so forth. But then at one point in time, I realized that this game is not going to go forever. Like so while I was lucky for a number of years and I made some good equity, but at the same time, you could be that as soon as that wind starts blowing the
Yeah.
other way, you could be on the receiving end of that. And I think one of the best books I kind of which really changed my mind on this whole household debt and investment scenario is basically a book called The House of Debt by Atif Mia and Amir Sufi. I mean, Atif Mia is probably very well known in Pakistan because he often comments on the economic situation in the country and so on. But that book is amazing because they actually went back and analyzed exactly what happened in the 2008 crisis, which I know, like, now there have been a lot of movies made on that whole
Mhm.
subprime crisis that happened with the real estate in the US and all of that. Luckily, in the US, hopefully this time it's not going to be as bad as the 2009 crisis. But if you read that book, that basically reinforces the point you made at the very beginning of this podcast, that real estate should be just one of the many
Yeah.
buckets where you should park your investment. And it should not be like, you take all your equity and all your savings and you put in the real estate bucket, because the moment the interest rates will start going up or something else happens around the world, which is not favorable for the housing market, then you could be in a very tough
And
situation. So
nowadays, yeah,
so
and
absolutely.
nowadays not only investments, you again, as I said before, the time is very important, and I would definitely recommend this book. I haven't read this completely. I've been contemplating on using this one, how to get paid for what you know. And this is very important because we undermine ourselves for the knowledge that we have. So it is important, whatever knowledge you have, you should get it out, because nowadays social media is such a powerful tool. You can do anything with this tool, and there is always an audience for you. So you one should not like undermine themselves, saying that who will listen to me, but there is an audience all the time for anybody, anyone who is providing any kind of value for that.
I think monetizing